race gets 5 points, second place 3 points, third place 2 points, and fourth place gets 1 point, or if there's forfeit in a 4-player race. And here we go. Let's start out the insanity. Now, there's no keys, so hopefully we get something good out of the first 3 chests. We have some fairy water, which could be useful. And did anybody catch what the other people got?
So the first 2 chests in front of the throne were both fairy water looked like, which is actually a little bit unfortunate because you kind of hope for that to be in the treasury. So the more of those chests you find in the throne room, the fewer there are. Well, that's important because that can be used as a weapon, of course, and it can be one of your main starting options in Chaos. So
that is right, because it has 2 uses. 1, it's a repel, but 2, and useful here, we have possibilities of you can flame at enemies for hurt damage. And also we have herb, gold, and curse belt in the armory. Herb is nice that you can grind, and gold grind is available, which is always nice.
Yeah, so some slightly different openings here. Leggy's opted to head into the field right away. The other racers all went back into the throne room to kick off the chest glitch. But Leggy's pipped a Scorpion here for 235 experience with the 2 fairy waters, so we're going to see a couple of levels combined here, I think.
5 levels, 22, 21, 21, 18 total. So, and hurt more.
This is pretty big time for an opening, but as you see, the first fight after that, getting the Hurtmore spell, that first Hurtmore didn't take out a wolf. So some higher experience enemies possible, but this looks like some more levels inbound.
Yep, 3, 3, 6, 8. Is it? No, another 3 and a new spell. And the new spell is a heal spell. So, Leggy's Starscream is off to what we like to say a flying.
That's for sure. We don't. Let's see. Tristal just went into the basement. I didn't happen to catch what that was down there, but he popped right back out again. So it looks like just about everybody in the field now. J-Man's heading to the basement as well to check things out, having finished up their opening grinding, his opening grinding. So everybody's out. We'll see if anybody else can run into an enemy that they can take out, just like Leggy did, and try to catch this up a little bit. But certainly Leggy off to a star-screaming start here.
And Captain Green gets off to a good start. J-Man opts for a reset.
Yeah, Captain Green out to level 4 already, so Hurtmore did come in one of those first 3 levels. So he's making some short work of a few things here as well. Looks like the first 5 levels, in fact, packed into the first 200 experience. So this can be a quick start as long as you find an enemy, and we know there are at least a couple of killable things around. So not as difficult an opening as you might find in a Chaos Seed.
That is true. The Scorpion would be the prime target to find, if you can find it. Tristal finds the Scorpion. Let's see if he's going to do anything with it. And apparently Starscream has found a boatload of Scorpions.
You know, if the Hurtmore is going to take it out... Oh, goodness, look at that level.
Double level bonus.
Yep, goes to level 9, so 2 levels in 1 there. 40 plus magic points, the notable element of that gain. But really, in Chaos, I feel like if you've got an opening spell that can take out an enemy that's worth 200 plus experience, oftentimes it can be very beneficial just to sit and find that enemy's zone and just smack it around a little bit and get 1,000, 2,000 experience, maybe see how many levels you can gain from that just in the first couple of minutes, and you can collect a lot of spells and a lot of stats that way in a hurry and make your exploration that much easier.
Oh yeah, take a look at her stats already. 43 strength, which isn't great shakes, but she doesn't have a weapon. 89 health, and her magic is almost there. And what she'll need to do now is she's got to find a town or a way back home.
Yeah, especially as much swamp as we've seen so far, those hit points are going to be very useful. I think Leggy Starscream actually closing in on the first town we've seen so far this season. And this is going to be coal. So one search spot available here as well as the shop.
Now, are the prices randomized? Yes, they are. Broadsword for 33 is good for right now.
Yeah, that's worth 20 attack power. You've also got, looks like that full plate there, also under 100 gold, so that's good for 24 defense points. So some good equipment available at very, very low prices in coal.
And a token to fight in coal, too. That's huge.
So there you go. About 6.5 minutes in, and we're off to a little bit of a roaring start here, at least for Leggy Starscream. But we know that there are plenty of enemies around that have high experience, so nobody's out of this race by any stretch of the imagination yet. Still a lot to do.
And another level. So we have 2 more power, 2 more agility, 3 more hit points, 10 more magic points, and a new spell of sleep. That is huge as well.
For sure. One of the things that Chaos can do, besides being able to put an enemy to sleep and maybe fight it, there are also some enemies that can be difficult, very difficult to run away from. And so you can kind of deploy that Stone Man strat, so to speak, use the sleep spell and then run away if you have to.
How about another level for Starscream? Nope. No, I take that back. However, blue slimes hit hard.
Yeah, you'll have a lot of that sort of thing here in Chaos, and I don't know if we fully addressed it, but these flags are the exact same flags that were played in Week 1, with the exception of those randomized enemy stats. So enemies can have their HP, strength, their agility, and therefore their defense are randomized, as well as their different resistances, and evasion is all randomized. So yeah, it's you kind of have to find your way around, and you just hope you get an enemy early that gives you a lot of experience.
And that's what Starscream did find when she found the scorpions and decided to throw some fairy water on it. And now she's gonna pop on into the shop and buy some looks like some herbs and I think a torch or 2.
Yeah, one thing that's worth pointing out is the torches and fairy water as weapons. Those are very valuable in Chaos. We saw that happen, as you mentioned, with Leggy Starscream getting that scorpion with the 2 fairy water right off the top. And those are valuable even when you have the Hurt More spell, because the fairy water and the torches also bypass any hurt resistance that the enemies might have. So even if you have Hurt More and Hurt, if you know there's a low HP enemy that you can take out with one of those items that's either difficult to run away from or just very valuable, you can still use those to some advantage.
That is true, except for one.
Yes, the exception.
Metal slime. It's still a coin flip.
Exactly. So it'll still do it because you don't want to use those to too much advantage in regular unrandomized enemy stats mode. Metal slimes, it is a coin flip to use those against them, and that remains the case in Chaos. So even though the metal slime stats are randomized, as you said, those items will still just be a coin flip to do 1 damage.
And something that we forgot to tell when we saw that shop in coal, Silver Shield's about 5,000, so even though Starscream doesn't have enough, if J-Man or Tristol manages to find cold, they can purchase it, and that would give them a nice advantage.
Yeah, exactly. And even if so the routing would work out really well for either of them. If you manage to get to Cole with enough money to purchase it, then you don't have to worry about it. But we do know at least that there's a gold chest available in Tantegel, so you can always do the old-fashioned gold grind if you have to take a Death Warp out of one of the dungeons. So it is at least available in the seed for a reasonable amount of gold.
And Captain Green, doing some exploration, has found 2 caves and a town. It is Hawksnest. Has 1 bullet in the chamber, so to speak, 1 hurt more. So hopefully it's something that is killable on that spike spot.
Ooh, random Druin Lord. 1 hurt more is not going to get it done and gets whacked for 39. So you're going to have to get there with some more resources, I think, in order to get that job done. But probably 2 or 3 hurt mores will get it done. So as long as he gets back to Hawksness with enough resources, that's a doable fight. And I think Tristal did get to Cole with enough money to buy that silver shield. Did I see that?
No, Rimmeldar found it with flame sword.
Okay, so we got a flame sword and
Starscream just found Rimmeldar as well.
Yep, so Erdrick's armor available in that single chest.
And she'll be able to upgrade that broadsword for a flame. So the silver shield was here too, so that is big. Well, that was big for Tristal. He will also have to find gold because we know the token is there.
Did I miss? I'm looking at Tristal's screen on the tracker right now. Did we miss the Erdrick sword get? Oh, okay, so flame for Tristal. Okay. No worries. We're all good. So Tristal's actually up to level 10. It looks like there's a pretty big gap between level 10 and the next level, level 11, because we've been on this level for about 1,000 experience or so. So that's one of the ways the flags interact here in Chaos with randomized experience to the next level. And with very fast experience on, sometimes you'll get clusters of levels in just, even 100 experience or so, and then sometimes it'll be a bit longer until you get to the next level. So we're seeing a little bit of that right here on level 10.
And apparently we got word that the Wombo combo is with the Wraith Knight. Captain Green finds a cave, finds out it is... well, what is it?
Went north and back to the staircase. I'm going to say that was probably Swamp South.
And Monsieur Slime confirming it is Swamp South. Probably not feeling too giddy about that right now.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, there's not been a whole lot of exploration on First Continent yet, depending on the situation. If you're in Swamp South and you don't have outside, sometimes racers will wait until they have the outside spell so they can transit very quickly through. And up to explore instead. And here we see Captain Green does, in fact, come across a town here, not too far from Swamp South, and it's Breckenary. Captain Green's going to pick up a broadsword here, some other things available, magic armor, as well as that silver shield, but doesn't have enough gold for the silver right at the moment.
Meanwhile, Leggy finds the grave, and first chest is gold, a torch, and more gold. Tristel's now at Hawk's Nest is going to give the shot against the Druid Lord.
Yeah, Tristel's got the resources to probably get this done. You really likely only have to tank one hit against that Druid Lord, unless it was just a very low roll that we saw the first pass that Captain Green made. Yeah, not too bad on the Druid Lord melees at this point with 70 defense points, so 2 Hurt Moors does get it done. It's a 125 experience, so you can keep that in the back of your mind if you need to grind, but not great. But on that search tile, it is the big stick, Erdrick's Sword, so...
Yep, that's...
big find there.
That's mana from heaven, so to speak.
Yeah, 85 attack power now with Erdrick's Sword for Tristel on level 10. Nothing to sneeze at, certainly, but in Chaos, depending on the situation, that attack power might only get you so far, so the Hurtmore, in concert with that, gives you a lot of options for trying to take enemies down.
And Starscream is exploring, going down further in the grave, hoping to find something in these last 2 chests. And this one, nothing, so that would be an herb. Did not see what was in that last cave. I'm paying attention to Leggy. And almost at that last chest.
Yeah, I think right now we're seeing a lot of experimentation from our racers in terms of what they need to use to take out various enemies. Captain Green is kind of exploring around here and is using all the means at his disposal to test for experience for some of these enemies. And so you'll have a lot of that in Chaos, where you're just trying to pick your way around, try to find the most valuable enemies that can be taken down as efficiently as possible, fling some Hurt Mortars, see what happens. So...
Wolf Chanting Stop spell does nothing because Leggy's got the armor.
Yeah, we didn't talk too much about the armor, a lot of things. Oh, and here we have a level for Leggy finally, after about 2,000 XP, 211, and a new spell, it looks like Repel, there on level 11.
And no attack power, so Empty Eye is chiming with glee. And all that's down there is a torch, so nothing happening in here, so Garingham seems to be like the best place to find stuff, but also Mountain Cave is still available too.
Yeah, still plenty of chests available in the overworld, but the grave, a little bit of a bust here, so that's unfortunate for Leggy Starscream as everybody continues to try to search for their key items. So far only have Erdrick's Token available in coal, and that's the only one we've ascertained to this point. Here, so we've seen a couple of runners collect the armor. We've also seen Tristel get that Erdrick's Sword from Hawksness, but we're of course looking for 3 quest items as well, those being Erdrick's Token, the Silver Harp, and the Stones of Sunlight. Once our runners have acquired those, they can trade the Silver Harp for the Staff of Rain at the Shrine Cave, And they can use those 3 to create the rainbow drop, which is what will be needed in order to access the domain of the Dragon Lord, Charlotte Castle. So, still some work to do in that regard, but we're still pretty early in the seed here, all things considered for a Chaos Seed. About 20 minutes in, these are some reasonably good outcomes.
Absolutely, and if you take a look at Captain Green, he has found Gantlin, and he's gonna take a look at these shops, try to find something good. Nothing doing, but there is coordinates. So let's see if there's anything on those coordinates, or is it gonna be fight, fight, fight?
Looks like fight, fight, fight. So we've actually
haven't seen so far in this Winter League yet.
What's that?
Everything just being in the back half of Garanham.
It has been a little while. Now we've narrowed it down a little bit, so for all we know, Mountain Cave could possibly be in the back of Garanham, which would give you 8 chests in one location. But of course, there's a couple of other caves we haven't seen yet. I don't believe we've seen Tablet Cave or Erdrick's Cave, as it's sometimes referred to. We haven't seen the Stones Cave yet, I don't think. So there's a couple of different options for what might be in the back of Garanham, but yeah, it's looking increasingly like Garanham could be a very valuable location. We've seen we know all 3 search spots already. There's no coordinates, and we know that the sword's in Hawksness and that the token is in Cole.
And there's some good stuff going against the Scorpion being the Noodle, and Tristal finding a Metal Slime, but Metal Slime is like, no dice, you're not beating me.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, if you can't beat the Metal Slime through conventional means, either a hurt spell of some kind or a melee attack, then those attack items don't work against it. So you're just kind of out of luck, and you can leave that alone for the remainder of this. Captain Green has come upon the Stones of Sunlight Cave, so this is good for 1 free chest, and it is the Silver Harp, so one of our quest items has been located in one of those single chests that are available in the overworld. So he's got his Silver Harp, and he's got Garanham. I believe this is the first time we've seen Garanham in the seed, so could be pretty big here.
Yep, that's pretty much everything.
Gold and an herb chest in Garanham so far, and then the Stones of Sunlight, so our 3rd quest item that we've seen, so we know where all of them are now. 2 of them are right here, close to Garanham. One's in the Stones of Sunlight Cave and the Silver Harp. The stones are in the back of Garanham. It looks like we've got Mountain Cave in the back of Garanham too.
But now we know Mountain Cave is empty. Worth is maybe a fighter's ring or a death necklace, but those can also be in Charlotte Castle.
Yeah, the interesting thing is we know from our bird's eye view, of course, that actually the 2 big dungeons in the overworld, Mountain Cave and the Grave, are both essentially skippable. Unless, there might be a fighter's ring or something like that hanging around, but, I mean, none of the quest items and neither the sword nor the armor will be there, so if you're fortunate enough in your exploration to come across everything else first, then you can maybe avoid one or both of these dungeons. But the fighter's ring was in first chest of Mountain Cave, so that's good for 2 attack power at least, and you never know what kind of difference that might make in the endgame.
By the way, Tristal also finds Garenham, and Leggy is finding these two caves, and one is Swamp South, and let's see what this other one is. I didn't get a good look at it last time. Was it the Jerk?
That's a good question. I'm not actually sure. I don't have a good sense of this map, I'll be honest. It's tough sometimes, especially in Chaos, just trying to keep track. There's so many things to try to keep track of, looking at different fights and seeing what the experience values are and so forth. So we'll maybe get a look at this cave in just a minute.
Tristal did not get the harp. He went into town first. This is Erdrick's cave or Tablet Cave.
Okay, so this will be the last chest that we haven't seen. We know, of course, that there's unlikely to be anything important there. Even if it's the Death Necklace, you'll often see players in Chaos shy away from that because of the way that the two forms of the Dragon Lord are randomized. So there's unlikely to be anything important there, and it is indeed a cursed belt.
Yep, and what's going to be interesting, Death Necklace, by the way, so it looks like Fighter's Ring and Death Necklace in Mountain Cave, so that makes things a little more interesting for Captain Green for later on down the road. As for Leggy Starscream, she will need to find Garenham.
Yeah, that's basically it. If you find Garenham, you're very likely also to see the Stones of Sunlight Cave, and ironically pick up the Silver Harp and pick up the stones in Garenham. So the importance of finding that area very, very high, and it's just really a matter of exploration at this point. You know, which direction do you decide to go? Will there be any enemies that are roadblocks? So far, it seemed pretty easy to get around the map. There were some deaths in the opening, but at least for the most part, I mean, there haven't been any enemies that have been just too fearsome to get by with the stats and the spells that our players have at their disposal.
And it looks like level 13 for Starscream, 1 agility, 7 hit points, 4 magic points, but no strength.
Ooh, and that's starting to become a little bit of a concern. You can see on level 13, 49 strength. Not great. You'd like to see that start picking up, especially because you don't really know how much strength you're going to need in the endgame. In Chaos mode, of course, Dragon Lord 1 is randomized and can sometimes be considerably worse than Dragon Lord Form 2, but DL2 himself can have anywhere from 100 to 230 hit points, so you don't really know what you're in for until you get into that fight. So the more attack power you can accumulate, the better.
Right, and one of the worst things is, it could have sleep, which is the worst.
It can definitely be the worst, and then depending on DL2's stop spell resistance, it can turn it into a different fight. But the interesting thing is, if you do manage to land stop spell, that does mean it's going to decrease the number of heal mores that you need, because then the Dragon Lord will waste some turns trying to cast when he can't. So there's, it's two sides of that coin. It's if you can land the stop spell, then you're in really good shape. Even on lower stats, but if you can't, if you're having trouble, then it can just be a real problem.
Right, and now Leggy's at 14. Didn't get a good look at that level, but it's all just a matter of her finishing the exploration. Hopefully she finds Garenham soon.
Yeah, just able to get out to a really big lead. Can't be overstated how important that is in Chaos when you just are able to go out and... she was the first person into the overworld, skipping the basement entirely at the open, skipped the grind at the open, and just found that enemy that could be taken out with a couple fairy water, and all of a sudden, we're off to the races. So this one's not over by any stretch because, like you said, that exploration is still so important, but Leggy Starscream is definitely in position to capitalize here on what was just a really good opening.
Hey, Levkin! Resubscribes. Thank you so much. Good. Now, I think all Leggy has to do is go west from here, and we'll find everything that she needs. Nope, this is not it. J-Man. I think J-Man did.
Well, Tristal does get to the Stones of Sunlight Cave finally after having seen Garenham and cleared Mountain Cave. So Tristal's got the harp now as well. Just needs to find Cole for the token. So now we are really in kind of an exploration race here.
And Silver Shield get for Starscream, which is really good for her. She needs it.
Yeah, I mean, the defense is so important. Again, in Chaos, you don't really know what you're going to be up against, so having a Silver Shield, even if you're the type that's not usually one that's given to go out of their way for it in a regular seed, in Chaos, just it can make a world of difference. So, and then again, sometimes the enemies are just too strong and the defense won't matter, but, you know, everything you can do to kind of up your advantages is worthwhile.
So J-Man back to the start, and we know that Cole is southwest of the castle.
Yeah, actually not very far away from Tantagel, if I'm recalling correctly, across this swamp. This map has seemed maybe a little bit on the above average difficulty side in terms of navigating it. There's a lot of little twists and turns, nooks and crannies, places that are kind of walled off by mountains and little paths, so there's a good bit of exploration here to do, and it's really just a matter of trying to clear everything as efficiently as possible.
That is true. However, now that we're this far along, by the way, Tristal just traded in Silver Harp. Now has the Staff of Rain, and is now on the hunt for the stones.
Token, I believe. Does Tristal? Yeah, Tristal still needs the token,
which is in Cole.
Exactly. So now that he's back at Tantagel Castle, hopefully he'll pick the right direction for his sake to go find that token and have all the Rainbow Drop components.
Oh, and J-Man has just found Cole.
So this is interesting. J-Man does find Cole, does find that token. Is the first time he's really gotten a look at a shop that has some good equipment too, so he's going to pick up that broadsword and full plate, it looks like. Interestingly enough, though, because of that Hurtmore spell, even without any equipment or actually anything, as far as inventory items, he's been able to pick up 2,000 experience. So, you know, not that far off the pace. So if he can kind of pick it up here, depending on one of the things in the late game that can be really important is just knowing your enemy zones really well in Chaos. And if you know where you can go to grind efficiently, because the spike tiles are, of course, are not guaranteed to have anything that's going to be worthwhile. So if you know what you can do most easily to gain experience quickly, that can be much to your advantage as well.
That is true. Captain Green now going to get his sword after defeating the Druid Lord. As we find out that ye oldie continent has nothing.
Go figure. A lot of things have had nothing in the seed. Unfortunately, Tristal's in one of those positions right now. He's diving the lower reaches of the grave, and we know there's nothing of value there either. So, an interesting seed the way this one is worked out in terms of what was where. The two big dungeons didn't really have much beyond the Fighter's Ring and the Death Necklace in Mountain Cave, and the grave itself was devoid of any important items.
Oh, there is something on the second continent. The jerk.
Oh, never mind then. All right. So, second continent requisite. We hadn't really seen anybody go through Swamp Cave, as to my recollection. So,
Tristal knows where everything is except for Garanham and Cantlin.
yeah, it's interesting the way this is broken out. Of course, Tristal and Leggy Starscream have big leads in terms of experience on the other two racers, but Captain Green's the only one who's really got all of the items to this point, except for that token. So a little bit further ahead on exploration than the others might be. So I don't know. It's really interesting here to see how the last half of this shakes out. And like I said, knowing the enemy zones and knowing where you can grind efficiently, it'll be interesting to see if they decide to take the Druin Lord for some extra levels. It wasn't terrible, but it too hurt more as the pop for around 100 experience. Maybe not the most efficient grind. So a lot of interesting decisions to make in Chaos when it comes to gaining levels once you have completed your exploration, and that could make a huge difference here as the seed winds toward conclusion.
Exactly, and we also have Starscream finding Cantlin, so we know it's on its way to Garen. Oh, Leggy's found it.
So here we go. The stones, of course, in Garanham, but we also know the Mountain Cave is in Garanham, and that's quite tempting. So it's quite possible that Leggy will opt to dive the Mountain Cave first before they get eyes on the Stones of Sunlight Cave where the harp is. So this could be another detour. Might not be the worst thing in the world, as long as you're able to fight enemies on your way and so you're still picking up experience. I mean, that's something that you need to do. So these detours, even though we know up here in the booth that there's nothing in Mountain Cave other than the Fighter's Ring, can still be useful, at least in terms of picking up some experience.
And the Death Necklace is there too, don't forget about that.
That is true.
Which means everything in Sherlock is useless.
Yes. I suppose the fairy flute could be hanging around, but in Chaos that is of even less importance than it might be in a non-Chaos seed. The flute, of course, still only puts golems to sleep, and in this seed I believe I saw one taken down via Hurt More earlier, and it gave 10 experience. So the flute's not exactly something that you even want clogging up your inventory in this seed.
No, it doesn't seem to. But a lot of runners don't really use the fairy flute, or they always neglect the fairy flute.
Yeah, I mean, if you think you can skip it, then you probably should.
and heal more at 16 is going to be the thing. So at least I think Leggy is not that far back in getting.
Yeah, I mean, we might see a level 15 now. Bear's pointing out the level 15 was a fairly big strength level, but still on level 15 only at 66 strength, so sitting on 108 attack power with the Fighter's Ring equipped and the Erdrick Sword. Leggy does come across Stones of Sunlight Cave fortuitously, and will pick up the Silver Harp, so now just needs to trade that in for the staff and then head back to Second Continent for the drop. We'll see, though, as things continue, who actually manages to get there first.
And Starscream looks like to know where she's going, which is always a plus. J-Man got Erdrick's armor, so everybody's got the armor. J-Man has yet to find Hawk's Nest, so he's missing the sword. Captain Green and Tristal have yet to find Cole and get the token. J-Man has yet to find Garingham and the cave right next door.
Yeah, so still a bit of homework to do, although I think Captain Green might be on the right track for Cole here. I did see him pass through that swamp just now.
You're right, it's just off of where Captain Green is, so he'll be able to pick that up. J-Man right near the beginning again. Right at the beginning again.
J-Man actually appears to be clearing the 2 gold chests in the Tangible Treasury. I wonder if he's just not gathering the gold he needs for a Silver Shield. It came in around, I think, 5,400 gold in this seed.
And it looks like Leggy's gonna level.
Leggy's going to get that Silver Harp out of her inventory, pick up the Staff of Rain, now has all of the necessary components for the completion of the Rainbow Drop, just has to head over to Second Continent and see the jerk about the drop.
And she knows where that is. She'll get her harp and make a beeline to Sherlock, because you kind of don't know where it is. You're never going to know what the Dragon Lord will bring. The worst thing that could have is sleep.
Captain Green has made his way to Cole finally, and so he's going to pick up his token. Also now has all the necessary Rainbow Drop components. And it looks like Leggy is going to opt to grind this Druin Lord in Hawksness. It looks like a Hurt More in a Swing will get it done. So for 125 experience, there are worse grinds for sure. Oh, and actually that was a single Hurt More, so the Druin Lord's HP must be probably somewhere in that 80 max range, where it's sometimes going to roll hit points in a lower range so that you can dust it with a Hurt More, and then sometimes you got to swing afterwards. So with that in mind, that makes it even a slightly better grind.
Are DL2 not randomized? Because I could think it could cast sleep.
DL2 is randomized within certain parameters. So as we've mentioned in the past, the hit points can be anywhere from, I believe, 100 to 230, and it does have stop spell resistance that is randomized within certain parameters as well. It can have in its utility spell slot either sleep or heal. So depending on the situation, you might not be able to outswing those heals, so landing a stop spell toward the beginning of the fight is a strategy that is fairly common, just to make sure you insulate yourself against the possibility of those sleep or heal spells. It will always have the DL2 breath as per usual, so you have to watch out for that. But if it is a casting Dragonlord 2 and you can get a stop spell on it, then that actually will save you some heal mores, because you won't have to... you'll be taking less damage on average, because it'll be wasting turns casting.
Yep. And Tristol is saving the princess.
Interesting. So I don't think... Tristol has not seen Caitlyn. This might just be a princess carry until he finds out whether they're coordinates or not. Which, if you're going through Swamp Cave anyway, is actually a pretty good play. If you can do that preemptive rescue, then sometimes that can be helpful. So that just takes care of one piece of routing beforehand. We of course know there aren't any coordinates in this seed, but he doesn't have that knowledge yet.
And soon J-Man will have that knowledge.
Yeah, so J-Man getting some of that homework done, and don't look now, but he's up to 4,000 experience and level 11. So has gotten some work done in the last little while here. Captain Green still sitting around 3,000 experience. And this grind has pushed Leggy Starscream all the way up to about 7,800 experience, but still sitting on level 15. So these last couple of levels, from going from 13 to 14, 14 to 15, have been pretty lengthy, and then it looks like going from 15 to 16 might take a little while too, and we know that level's of great importance because that's where Healmore would have to be. High Spirits with a great point in chat, actually. Even if you don't know if there's going to be coordinates or not, if you return the Princess in Chaos Mode, you can use Gwaelin's Love to find out your experience at the next level at any time. So that's a technique that some runners will use in order to determine that. If the next level is just too far away when it's close, you might opt to skip it and wait instead of continuing to grind. So having that information at your fingertips can be very useful as well.
That is true. And Leggy takes a death. First time in a while for her.
Yeah, and Lorik reporting, I think, less than 100 experience to the next level here. Oh, actually, yeah. HS has it at 8181, so... Even on the overworld, Leggy's going to pick up level 16. 16 power, 9 speed, 16 hit points, and 1 magic point. So a pretty big level there, but still probably, let's see, 16, so that'll put us at 82 strength.
Or 124 attack, which...
Yes, 124 attack power.
That is true. Captain Green first to get the drop, and now Leggy Starscream is... looking to finish up getting that drop, and 17 happened as well. So between 16 and 17, it was quick.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so that was 2 levels in 1 there for that last gain for Leggy Starscream. So that's what, again, that's what the combination of very fast experience and randomized experience will do. You'll sometimes get these big jumps, and then you'll have a level cluster, like we saw at the outset. So interesting there, very quick from 15 to 17.
Leggy just now knows where Caitlyn, where that is, so now it's just a matter of there is the cave. I'm gonna cast outside, go get her drop, and she knows that the caves are close by.
So now this is the interesting part, because you'll see a lot of divergent strategies when it comes to Dragonlord readiness in the late game, because Chaos, with the difference in DL1 and DL2 stats and spell possibilities. Some racers will prefer to go check out the Dragon Lord, see what they're dealing with even before they're ready, just to get an idea of what kind of battle they're in for and what kind of levels they might need. And some people you'll see just go take the grind first and see if they can kind of overwhelm the Dragon Lord, just go in and take him out in one pass. So there's a lot of different ways you can play this, and I think it looks like Leggy is going to head toward Charlock to take a look, or at least pop into Cantlin first.
Yeah, it's a primo position to be in. She might want to decide to level a little bit, maybe grind to 10k. She's got, even though she doesn't know it, but she's got an almost insurmountable lead.
Yeah, really. And of course, you have no way of knowing that. The way the opening went for her, she might be thinking she's a little bit ahead, and it never hurts, even if you don't think you're in position yet. And she's probably not really ready yet, even if DL2 has low HP, which you can never really bank on. So it might be worth it to go take a look at that Charlock spike tile, see what you're dealing with there. And since there is the town of Cantlin so close, if you do need to get more levels, I mean, that could be a place where you might consider doing that.
By the way, we haven't done this in the stream yet, but we want to give everybody a shout out. So show your support for all these racers and everybody behind the scenes. So give them all a follow and support their streams. Captain Greed 7, J-Man 1865, Leggy Starscream, Tristal MTG, and also give us in the Boober Rap a follow, give Archfield Monk a follow, CD Improv, Monsieur Slime, and myself a follow. I'm trying to get back into the streaming game, doing various odds and ends, doing randomizer. And I know everybody is just trying to give it your best effort to make this one of the best things going on Twitch today. And it's another Druid Lord in the spike spot. So I'm fine with this. It's like Axe Knight, but yeah.
Yeah, I imagine Leggy Starscream is fine with it too, although she is going to take the option to take a look at the Dragon Lord fight here. So we're going to get eyes on this for the first time. Going to heal all the way to full and then talk to the Dragon Lord. So this is probably more of a scouting trip. On 124 attack power, DL2 may or may not be possible, but we can at least see what Dragon Lord 1 has on offer. And it looks like the melee attacks aren't nearly as bad as they might be. That's a 16 and then a 29, so that's probably about the range right there, one would assume. Looking at 16 to 30 on 82 defense, and that was a pretty quick DL1 fight. So you might play this out and just see if you happen to get a low HP Dragon Lord and see what happens, but there's the opening sleep.
That's what I was afraid of.
So now you got to think, okay, am I going to heal more here, or am I going to try to land the stop spell right away? Because now Leggy gets put to sleep again, and this time may or may not wake up. And looks like the may not. So that's unfortunate. But now she knows exactly what she's got to do. First turn in the DL2 fight, you got to start flinging those stop spells until you get one to stick.
Yep, and once that stop spell hits, kind of game over.
Yeah, basically. It looked like, I mean, that was a small sample, but he was casting it, 2 out of the first, it looked like 3 available turns, or maybe even the first 2 turns. So if that's a higher chance to sleep, then, again, that's a spot where even on this attack power, I don't know, maybe you stop spell him and then just see if you can take him out. Captain Green, meanwhile, does have his rainbow drop, of course, and he has just hit level 15 by the looks of it, so get the big strength gain there. He knows he's not in position yet, and he still needs heal more, so he's going to have to continue grinding against this Druid Lord.
And Tristal just got the token.
So there we go. Now Tristal's just got to go get his drop as well, and we'll probably see him start grinding, and it'll be interesting to see what his choice is. He's still got a little bit of a lead on Captain Green, at least for now. But Captain Green continuing to gain experience at a pretty steady clip here, so that's something to keep an eye on as well. Interesting question posed by our restreamer CD Improv in chat. Does Tristal know where the jerk is? I'm not actually sure if I've seen it on his screen, the jerk cave. So we'll see if he decides to head towards Swamp or if he's going to continue exploring down here. He hasn't seen much in the environs of Cole, so it looks like he might try to look around on First Continent a bit first.
Yeah, it seems to be what he's doing. Also, he also rescued the princess, so coordinates, well, they mean nothing.
Yeah, and I think this is his first time in Cantlin, so he might decide. I mean, he's got everything now, so he knows there's nothing there that he might possibly want, especially if he doesn't. He's probably just going to try to load up here and see if he can find the jerk cave. Leggy's making their assault on Charlock, and looks like running into some poor escaping luck from this golem. It can sometimes be very difficult to run from things in Charlock. And this is where you might opt to go with a Stone Man strat, try to put the enemy to sleep, or even use a Hurt More if it's something that doesn't seem vulnerable to sleep, so you can get away a little bit easier. But that might have been just a bad run of rolls there, because that second golem escaped on first turn. So
And unfortunately, Leggy had to burn 3 heal mores, which is not good at all.
I didn't happen to notice whether or not Leggy cast Repel. Repel in dungeons is on, but if these enemies aren't broken, then they're not going to be chased off anyway. It looks like the damage the golem has been doing is out of that range, so it's one of the enemies that wouldn't be chased away even if Repel were active. Ooh, and actually gets taken out by this golem. So yeah, one of those... maybe that second golem run was just more of a lucky happenstance, but that was a significantly tougher run through Charlock that time than it was for Leggy the first time around.
Well, look what she knows now. 243 to the next level.
Okay, so there you go. So you might decide to just pick that up, even if you manage to tag a scorpion or something on the way over. That'll get you almost there. So. We were talking about the flute earlier, and Beat is pointing something out very interesting in chat. It might be the one and only time you'll ever see the flute possibly be useful in Chaos. We know it would have to be in Charlock Castle. So if you were to grab it, that would actually give you the free run from the golems, at least, since they're causing so many problems.
And Tristal now has Rainbow Drop. So the lead is shrinking for Starscream.
Yeah, and that's what can happen late in these Chaos Seeds. If you run into even a pesky Charlock, they can send you back a couple times. That'll just absorb time. Captain Green and Tristal are about on even footing now in terms of experience, although Captain Green, of course, is in the middle of his grind. So Leggy's probably got a couple more shots at this before the others really start to catch up in earnest. Only sitting with about a 1,500 experience point lead now, and we know that 16 and 17 happened very quickly. So Tristal and Captain Green could find themselves in position to start taking runs at Charlock pretty soon, too.
Yep. And for Leggy, it's like, only a brick wall can stop you. Its name is Golem.
There you go. Here comes level 18 for Leggy. 5 power, 3 speed, 2 hit points, 14 magic. So interesting here. Probably it looks like she's going to forge ahead, but if she does come back, she'll have more MP at her disposal. For her sake, one hopes that she can at least get to the DL and attempt the fight again, so we can get a look at what DL2 is doing. But it all hinges on that stop spell right now. You've got to hit that first turn or pretty soon into the fight. And these golems are doing everything they can to even try to prevent that from happening.
And once again, the golem is being a butt.
Ooh, and the golem has, we see the golem on screen now, the golem has 15 out of 16 sleep resist. I had suggested perhaps the Stone Man strats earlier. That's not going to work because your sleep's only going to land 1 out of 16 times. So the Fairy Flute, 225 agility for this golem. It's a Charlock tier enemy based on the way that Chaos randomizes this. They're going to be incredibly difficult to run from, as we've seen so far. So the Fairy Flute's actually looking really good right now. It's not something I would think of in the moment, though, and so I wouldn't blame anyone for not thinking of it in a Chaos seed either, because it's just one of those things that almost never happens. First time I can ever remember seeing that. So the one thing that you might try there is try Hurt More instead, because I do believe it did have a lower hurt resist, so that's a possible strategy as well. But when you're trying to get to the Dragon Lord, you want to try to be, you're trying to hang on to that MP as much as you can. So, different ways to play that. But here we go again. Leggy Starscream going to take on DL1. Didn't see anything fierce from him last time, so we should also get another look at a DL2 fight.
Yep, and hopefully is able to squeeze off a quick stop spell.
Yeah, Weak Breath also from DL1. Don't think we saw that last time, but of course doesn't really mean much with Erdrick's armor on, so that's a quick fight. DL1 more of a pest in the seed, and we see Leggy immediately menuing to that stop spell, and the first one does not land.
Oh, this is a gamble, and she's going to just heal.
That's probably prudent. We've seen 2 misses so far, and now the DL2 has brought out the sleep and the fire, and that's going to be it for that fight. So just really unfortunate. We could be looking.
Passion.
Yeah, we could be looking at a slightly higher stop spell resist DL2 here. DL2 can't have near maximum. I don't remember quite what the cap is, and perhaps someone in chat who's more knowledgeable about those specifics might know more than I would, but there is a limit to the DL2's stop spell resistance. So, but even so, missing on 2 of those does not give one high hopes that it's going to be easy to land another here. So.
And don't look now, both Captain Green and Tristol are in Sherlock.
Captain Green has been greeted quite rudely by one of these golems, and Tristel's now got one on his screen too. So we'll see how they decide to handle this after they get a bunch of run blocks. Captain Green is actually going to get sent back, unfortunately. And Tristel on level 18, also trying to run, but it's just not going. Yeah, I think you have to start breaking out the hurt mores and just hope that DL isn't going to be as big a problem. And honestly, you probably don't need that much MP to finish off this fight. They don't know that yet, of course. But DL1 is a cupcake. And DL2, if you land that stop spell, then you've got a lot of free attacks. So if you've got those enemies that are difficult to run from, here you see Tristel breaking out the Sleep and the Stone Man strats against that Wolf Lord. So he's just going to put those to sleep. He apparently knew about those from earlier in the seed. And he's going to sleep them and run away. So we'll see if he tries to do the same thing on the golem. Of course, we know that it's almost impossible to put those golems to sleep. So for his sake, he might not run into another one. So and could get there with mostly full resources other than the magic he's had to use to get away from some of these enemies.
Right. And by the way, it looks like Starscream went into a swamp cave, found a golem, now knows what it's got. Now knows what it's packing. And here comes Tristel.
Yeah, unlike Gangbusters, he has put DL1 to sleep. And that's a very common opening strat because DL1's sleep resist is randomized. So he puts him to sleep, takes him out in 2 shots.
Tristal knows it's chaos. Will he fling a stop spell anyway?
He did, and he got the back attack with no sleep, but unfortunately that first stop spell didn't land, and now he's gonna be forced to heal here and hope for a non-sleep turn. Didn't get it. So now he's just gotta hope to wake up. Still no effect. So this is this is really interesting here. We're basically just chucking stop spells and trying to land one, and I think the first person who manages to get into Charlock and land a stop spell stands a pretty good chance of just taking home the 5 points here, but we have yet to actually see that happen, and Tristal's going to go down here, so... Man,
that is tough, and it does
really rough.
Look like Starscream's gonna grind to 19.
Yeah, this is interesting. The thing that you think might help you most here might be some magic points. They're already in the 120s, 126 on level 18 on these builds, strength HP. But this is what you've got. So it's an interesting decision. I think I don't know how much stats are going to help you at this point. Because, like I said, it comes so much down to whether or not you can land the stop spell on DL2. Is Captain Green going for the flute, I wonder? He might be making the flute play here. Heading toward the Charlock Treasury.
What he's doing.
Yep. This is pretty heads up. I admit I would never think of this. If you run into some terrible high agility golem in Charlock, in Chaos, I would never actually think to look for the flute. The Hurtmore strats are working reasonably well too, so that's something to think about as well. But it's costly. If you run into 5 golems, all of a sudden you're down 25 magic points going into the DL fight. So Captain Green's gonna get his flute. We didn't do the pyramid game for the random chaos flute, but there it was, top left chest, and he's gonna put it to work right away to get away from this golem. Meanwhile, don't look now, but J-Man has got the silver harp, so he's just got to make his trade, and he's going to be able to get the rainbow drop as well. So still a lot to be decided here. This DL fight is a lot of RNG, so don't go anywhere. This one's probably a long way from over. I believe Leggy has hit level 19. So it looks like a strength boost there, 3 strength, 2 agility, 4 hit points, and another magic point. So a little bit of a boost up to 132 attack power now. And actually level 20 is going to come immediately after that. 5 speed, 3 hit points, and 1 magic point. So now all the way to level 20. Again, there that clustering effect that we've observed several times this seed already.
So it looks like she's gonna complete this leveling until she runs out of Hurtmore. Yeah, or out of magic points anyway.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. I think if you just run yourself out of resources, then you're probably in good shape to take another attempt. Captain Green rounding the next to last corner using his flute strats against the golem, and Tristal has just completed the mini boss, so we're going to see him get to DL first this cycle.
This is going to be a great comeback for Tristal, knowing how far behind Tristal was in the beginning.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of this in Chaos too, where somebody will just get out to a big lead, but then these kinds of things can happen, and all of a sudden you've got yourself a race in the closing stages. So, second stop spell attempt of this fight for Trystal fails as Captain Green is just about to be declared a fool for his Dragonlord fight. And level 21 apparently came really quickly again for Leggy Starscream. Still no stop spell for Trystal, and Captain Green is going with the hurt more strats against DL1.
I don't like that because that takes away, Captain Green lost 2 heal mores off of that.
It's true. It can sometimes be helpful. I mean, some people will just open with sleep and a couple of hurt mores against DL1 because he can hit so hard. And depending on the DL2 situation, if it's a casting DL2, then using stop spell can just save you so many heal mores that it can be worth it. But yeah, it's interesting to see how people approach the DL1 fight. Trystal still looking to land this stop spell, and he hasn't quite gotten it yet. Could this be the one? It is! He's got the stop
Game
spell,
on.
so now here we go. DL's going to waste a lot of turns here, starting with a 10 for Trystal, the first swing we've seen anybody take. Because they've been so busy trying to land these stop spells.
8 heal mores, now 7.
23 damage so far. Now remember, DL2 can have as much as 230 hit points. That was 11 and 13 for an additional 24. I did not pick up the count from where I had it.
Looks like Dragonlord is casting for 50%.
Yeah, if it looks like 50% easy here, that would be the maximum sleep percentage. And if that's the case, then you're getting, for every attack you make, you're getting an extra heal more, basically. That's what it'll come out to. So I'm pretty sure those cap at 50%, yeah.
We are getting dangerously close to the end of this seed.
Oh, there we go. Everybody get your GGs out in chat. A fairly low HP DL2, and he's going to get it done with heal mores to spare after finally landing that stop spell. GG's to Trystal. He's going to pick up the much-needed 5 points here. That will take him up to 7 total in the standings. Job done there.
Coming back from dead.
Meanwhile, we still have a lot on the line here. 3 points for the second place finish, 2 points for third, and then that 1 point for last place. Captain Green and Leggy Starscream both in Charlotte Castle. Leggy has 3 levels on CG7, so go ahead.
There was a note that Trystal left said, "Please, no more chaos in tournaments, please." No, we got a couple more weeks of chaos.
So there you go. Official SRL time for Trystal, 1 hour, 13 minutes, 14 seconds.
Get yourself 5 points, sir. You earned them.
There you go. Captain Green 7 starting his DL1 fight. The march continues. J-Man taking a long look at his stats on level 17 that he's just picked up there.
And we are joined by Trystal. I got some good news and some bad news for you. The good news is that you won. Okay. You got yourself 5 points. The good news is you won and got yourself 5 points. The bad news is I think week 5 is another chaos.
Yeah, I mean, my opinions on this are well known at this point, but yeah, GG, I guess.
GG, Tristal. Captain Green there did not get his stop spell and was taken out by DL2. So Leggy Starscream has an opportunity here, another window to try to get this done. So Tristal, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this seed. It actually turned out there were a couple of racers who had built a substantial advantage. You had gotten some experience early. What's kind of your strategy going into a chaos seed? What were you looking to do in sort of the opening 10 to 15 minutes there?
Yeah, so the number one priority to a chaos seed is to figure out what you can kill early on. The fairy water helped a lot there, having that available, so you didn't have to, try and win coin flips on 0 versus 1 damage against an enemy that doesn't care about your 9 attack power. So that's a nice, way of getting around the problems to the beginnings of chaos seeds. And it actually turned out a lot of stuff around the starting town was not really that lethal. I only ended up having 2 deaths, and they were really late comparatively. So overall for a chaos seed, that didn't treat me that badly.
Yeah, that's about as good an opening as you might hope for in Chaos. You've got some high experience enemies around, and they're not, as you said, especially lethal. So take us around that map a little bit. It was an interesting map. There were a lot of different sort of nooks and crannies as we were observing the seed go by. So what did you find to be challenging, or maybe not so challenging, about the way everything was kind of laid out as far as routing purposes and everything else there?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I got a little bit lucky that I was sort of directed towards Rimmildar, not like right at the beginning, but pretty close to it, to get Erdrick's armor as a beautiful gift, so that we could actually explore through the swamps without ridiculous amounts of heal spells being cast. And then kind of everything was just funneled. Well, at least it seemed to me. I failed to search to the west, but it seemed to me everything was kind of funneled to the southwest of Tanagal. And boy, did I get lucky later on when I was trying to find South Swamp to get the rainbow drop, and then all of a sudden Charlock was here? Because I was really expecting Charlock to be somewhere north or west of Cole. I think it turned out there was nothing north or west of Cole, because I don't think there's anything else I missed on my map that I could have gotten.
There wasn't.
So
yeah,
there was fine there.
Yeah, that was the plan, was to go get the rainbow drop and then continue exploring north and west of Cole. And then if I had done that and not found Charlock or Cantlin, I would have been incredibly confused. So that was very, very lucky. So it ended up kind of being a condensed map, other than Cole being way off in the northwest. And then you found most of the plot items early on. The little North Swamp continent only having the Jerk Cave on it was kind of interesting too.
Yeah, absolutely. So some interesting exploration there. We do have 3 simultaneous Charlock dives going on here. J-Man is taking on DL2, and I think he just got his first taste of that sleep spell. Captain Green fighting DL1, and Leggy is making yet another dive. So it looks like J-Man's going to get sent back here via that sleep and breath. And so now Captain Green in the driver's seat as the carousel continues.
How high was the sleep resist on DL2?
We actually haven't looked at it yet, so
let's
waiting for
find
the
out
to play
now,
out
because
a little
everybody
bit.
had to taste the Dragon Lord.
Well, I think the theoretical maximum is 12 out of 16, right?
I believe that's correct.
Well, my anecdata says they're wrong. It's higher than that.
Yes. Certainly the sample we've seen so far, not so much.
Wait, really? 15? That can't be right. Oh my god, that's right.
13 out of 16 stop spell resistance.
Oh, for stop. Sorry, I kept saying sleep. I meant stop spell.
That's okay.
Yeah, my anecdata was right. Wow.
There you go. So that's, I think that I want to say, I guess, okay, so High Spirits is saying the maximum is 14. I was thinking it was 12. So seeing it in that neighborhood proved me wrong immediately anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's just... I'm not trying to kink shame, but man, whoever coded that to be 14 out of 16 maximum, man, ridiculous.
However, low hit points. So I did lose the count on your fight, but it looked like it was about 12 or 13 swings, so 126 sounds about right.
Yeah, I did like 130, but I mean, with a sleep DL2, it almost doesn't matter how many hit points they have because they're just going
Right.
to cast sleep so often. You get so many free turns once you land the stop spell, of course.
That's, of course, the linchpin. Speaking of linchpins, Leggy has landed their stop spell, and with 112 magic points, this is completely free, especially on level 21, where they've got 139 attack power. So this fight should be over in relatively short order. We've seen the DL's HP, so this could be like a 7-swing fight and done.
Oh yeah, she's just gonna crush it. I bet it feels great. Level
Yes,
21. Oh, get that
Yeah,
revenge.
She was actually the first to the Dragon Lord and has been grinding away all this time. Had I want to say at least 4 failed Dragon Lord fights, and then went back to get some more levels, and has come back this time and looks like they've got it in the bank. So
yeah, and sort of not to beat the dead horse, but the fact that these races are won and lost based on this stop spell luck is a little not the best. But hey, it's randomizer.
there we go. It is randomizer. We can get our GGs out in chat for Leggy Starscream, who's going to walk away from week 2 with the 3 points. So she'll move up to 5 points total in the league so far. Job done there. Very good race from Leggy Starscream, by the way. Just could not manage to crack that DL2 at the end until just a few moments ago.
Yep. And 5 points will get her into the middle of the pack. Tristal will have 7 points. That will currently put you in the lead.
Official SRL time for Leggy Starscream, 1 hour, 21 minutes, 6 seconds. And
J-Man did it. J-Man landed stop spell.
There we go. J-Man lands a stop spell. So this is a big come from behind here. J-Man was upwards of 3,000 experience points out at one point in this seed. And he stormed back here, took his fight on level 17, and he's got his stop spell. I believe this is his second turn at DL2, so he landed it a little bit sooner than some of the others did in their progression, and it looks like he's got this one locked up, even though it'll be a longer fight because on level 17 he's only got that 124 attack, but this is still in the bank.
Absolutely. And hopefully we can get Starscream in for an interview. And here she is now. Leggy, congratulations. That was a brutal DL2.
Who taught the Dragon Lord to read bedtime stories? I want words with them.
We're looking at you, McGrew.
Yeah, I think we've all got some McGrew sharpened pitchforks ready.
Just to break in here really quickly, J-Man has finished off his DL fight, so he's going to come in third place in the seed, pick up 2 points for his efforts, so combined with his first place finish in the opening week, that'll move him to 7 points, just like Tristal has, so starting to see some things shake out here as week 2 starts.
So congrats to J-Man there, another one who was pretty far back and managed to come through. J-Man is now joining us on the chat and in the booth. Congratulations, J-Man. A hard-fought 2 points. No, Wizzy, Leggy got 3 points, and J-Man has 2. Hey there, J-Man. Finally got you on. Hard fought Dragon Lord for 2 points, and I don't know what's going on with Captain Green. Do we have an update on what's going on with him?
I think it looks like he's noped out of this one.
I can appreciate that.
I could respect that.
It's completely understandable.
Yeah, I forgot that the DL2 gets secondary abilities in the Chaos.
An unpleasant surprise, to say the least.
Might have cost me second place, but it would have probably been pretty close one way or the other.
Yeah, it was always going to be kind of a jumble there at the end with the DL2 having 50% sleep. So since we have J-Man and Leggy Starscream in chat now, maybe you can just give us some of your impressions of the seed generally, apart from that very difficult close.
Yeah, honestly, after I landed the double fairy water to get the scorpion, looked at my spell list, saw hurt more. I felt really, really good about the seed right up until Dragon Lord 2 said, nap time.
Yeah, it may not surprise you to hear you had a pretty extensive lead for most of the seed, and it just was that Dragon Lord fight that was the roadblock there at the end, as well as some of those golems, which were also very unpleasant in Charlock.
Yeah, I was trying to balance between using the MP to take them out and running away. Probably should have erred the other direction, but that's what I get for being a little new.
Wait, you could actually run from those golems? Because I sure never could.
Yeah, I don't think there was really a whole lot you could do about it.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we had been discussing the fairy flute earlier in the seed and said, oh, it's chaos, nobody would ever want that. And as it turned out, Captain Green was the only one who made the play to go to the Charlock treasury and pull the flute out to use it to put those golems to sleep. So an interesting play there that will probably never ever come in handy again.
That would have been nice. I had thought about trying to find the fairy flute, but I sort of assumed it would just be like on the overworld or something. And I mean, I'm not going to go all that trouble just to go dig that out. But yeah, I guess I could have still been in the treasury.
I mean, I checked. There was no overworld spot this seed.
Yep, I can agree to that.
Yeah, it turned out Cantland was the last thing I found. Somehow, I totally missed the whole Charlock Cantland corner in that part of the exploration towards Garanham and all that, and came back to go get the rainbow drop and couldn't find South Swamp correctly and was a screen over, and I was like, oh, there's Charlock. Cool. That'll be good.
Yep, chaos always makes for good fun. But at least the DL wasn't hitting us for like 95 a swing.
Yeah, DL1 was extremely pleasant. I actually put it to sleep preemptively and then killed it in 2 hits.
Yeah, as DL1 fights go, that certainly could have been much worse. So, any closing thoughts, anybody here? We're probably going to start to wrap things up pretty soon, so anything you'd like to say as we close things up here on Randomania for the evening?
I'm glad my Chaos Week is over.
When in doubt, spam stop spell.
That's probably sage words to live by when doing chaos.
No doubt.
Everybody, please write your governmental representatives to ban chaos mode from any tournaments that aren't specifically designed for it. Thank you.
And with that, so good advice all around.
Impeach McGrew.
We're going to take a look at the upcoming schedule here. We had just one race this evening. We do have 2 coming up for you tomorrow. The first group is Jay Coper, Game Boy F9, Gulf 35, and Tilo at 8:30 Eastern Time. And just after that, starting on another channel, we'll have Amazing Toaster, the Hangry Canuck, Braxis Muse, and Diabetes II. Interesting because that's exactly the same group as it was in week 1, except with the addition of Amazing Toaster for that round. So we'll get kind of a repeat for week 2. But a couple of really good races lined up for you tomorrow, so make sure you keep an eye on your Randomania networks for more information on the broadcasts for those.
Or if you want to find out more, and if you want to have your own chaos hair pulling fun, you can download the randomizer right there.
There you go. Just have to go to that link in chat. You can go join the DWR community Discord if you haven't already. Great place to be. Lots of very helpful, friendly people there. And if you need help navigating the stormy seas of chaos, you'll be able to find some people to help you out there. So we're going to close up shop here. Our restreamer tonight was CD Improv, our trackers, Ali Jabrap, and oh goodness, who was our other tracker? Camion Renikai. Was Camion our tracker?
I believe so.
Okay, and so we're going, and I've been Archfield Monk, Sigma fan. Thank you so much for being alongside in the commentary booth and making up for all of my many deficiencies.
And thank you for making up for mine. I hate chaos!
We're going to kick it right over to Fred F. Coughlin. And we'll pop in on him tonight. I assume, I actually haven't checked in to see what he's doing yet, but Fred's always a good watch. So stick along with us right here on Randomania if you want to go watch F. Coughlin. But for our entire Restream team and for all of our racers this evening, thanks so much for stopping by.
Monsieur Slime and Ali Gerbrap.
Oh, Monsieur Slime. I'm so sorry. That's a big mistake on my part. So shout out to Monsieur Slime. Thank you so much for all of your efforts behind the scenes. And that'll do it for us. Sigma, any closing words?
When in doubt, stop spell.
Stop spell, everyone.
Thanks for commentary, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for stopping by.